everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of our DUO21. Again, under the motto of Together from Anywhere, we're gonna have lots of partners from all over the world speaking throughout the whole season about their usage of our software and industry trends. So, and after we had a very British-centric session last week, today we stay in the European continent. So we're very happy to have lots of speakers from France, Spain, and also from Germany here with us. But before we go into that, we're gonna hear from Carol about a little bit ideas and what's going on within DALIM. And then we're gonna switch over to our panelists. And I think when you've seen the agenda, those companies don't really need an introduction. We have the powerhouse DECATHLON, huge retailer from France, and I'm very happy to have Fleur with us later on. From Spain, we're going to see Mario from ISDIN, one of the huge manufacturers of sun care products. And speaking with the two guys, we have Uwe from Hamburg. Uwe also doesn't need an introduction, packaging expert, president of the EPDA, has his own consulting company, does a lot of networking and so on. So helps networking the packaging industry with their businesses and of course with their sustainability. After that session, again, we have a little break, and thanks to Marius, we know how to use the AirMeet tool. So we're gonna meet there and we can discuss, we can meet up, we can get to know each other a little bit. And then after the short break, we have my colleagues Isabel and Aurélien showing you some actual workflows for the packaging and marketing market. Because for us, packaging is not only about a label on a bottle or the box around the bottle, but it's also about the point of sale equipment that people might have in their retail stores. So it's the combination of the packaging production plus the marketing tools along with it. But before we go there, I want to remind you that we are still having our little game, finding out where the first DALIM software DALIM software Duo has been hosted. As you know, we've been to many countries, so we're looking for someone of you who knows actually the first city we've ever been to. There will be 10 clues over the whole season. If you know the answer, just send it to hello@dalim.com. Of course, as I said, we have the little break between the sessions. We have the tables to get everyone networked, but we also have a little popcorn test. So that means if you're interested in movies and so on, if you know a lot about them, here's a chance to win Netflix, Prime Video, and Disney subscriptions. But enough from me. I hand over the little toy here to Carol, and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Bertin. I mean, as you said, it's a real pleasure actually to have, to be here in Kiel, sitting between Barcelona and Lille in France, with speakers. If you look, actually, they have either sustainability or sustainable in their title description. So I think that says a lot, and for that reason, I will not actually show you too many sustainability slides. I mean, you've seen already quite a few over the past episodes. Just like to thank the speakers to give us their time, and because their time is precious and we have a lot of content, we'll cut very short. But before we get to that, I want to tell you how this session came about. In 2020, which was a quite different year, like this year actually has been starting as well. We were looking for a way to be closer to our community, and then we had the idea of the marketing advisory board, and we had three of our friends that did step up and helped up actually on a monthly basis to ping us with ideas and new formats and even prototypes that we were happy actually to put together during this period. So Uwe is on the board, as you can see, and that is a good enough reason to be the speaker introducing our two stars tonight. That would not have been possible without the contribution of Ed Zepernick, who out of Chicago, with all his knowledge around publishing and printing, makes also a valuable, invaluable input also to our product development. And Chris, which is an international expert, also located in Barcelona, by the way. Also, I mean, thank you to you guys for helping us getting there. There will be more seats actually available on the advisory board. So if you're interested, reach out to us digitally, phone, whatever you like. We always love taking advices from our friends and community. But, you would probably not have on the same stage tonight, a company that is actually selling sports article and another one doing, cosmetic sunscreen. Although with the nice weather coming out, you could combine the two pretty easily. But that became possible with our last DUO session. The last DUO physical session was in Lisbon, which you can see here on your screen. We had contributions in the retail industry from Bowden, for instance, a large UK clothing retailer, second largest if I'm not mistaken, and that was also supported by publishing and printing contribution. Among others, the ADAC magazine was there, and we learned a lot about that. And guess what? I mean, both Mario and also DECATHLON were represented at DUO, so the idea was simply to let them speak about packaging. And without further ado, I would like to pass to them the microphone and thank them for their time and enthusiasm in helping us putting this program together. Enjoy the show.
Hello, bonjour, hola, guten Tag, welcome to DALIM Duos on Air season number 4. Thank you, DALIM Software, for having us. I'm just your charming moderator. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Bertine, for introducing me already. I'm happy to have super nice colleagues with me today who can tell us a lot about packaging. On the one hand side, it's Fleur Lim from DECATHLON. She's speaking from Paris to us. And then we have Mario Garcia, who's into ISDIN, the leading brand in South America, Spain and Portugal for suntan and cosmetics. And he's speaking from Spain to us. I will do a little introduction beforehand to bring you into the topic. It's about sustainable packaging and the role of packaging in terms of sustainability. And I've brought something for you. I've brought the packaging of the future. So what does it look like? Here we are. That's the packaging of the future. It's made from renewable sources. It has a solid barrier, so it's food proof. Its yellow color has a huge stopping power and a huge shelf impact, and it's biodegradable, and it is compostable. And by the way, it is a smart packaging because it turns the color into black if it comes to the end of the expiration date. So this is really the super cool packaging. The only thing which is missing a little bit is convenience. That's a problem, but I found a way to come over that. I developed a tool. Look at this. And it's just easy. You just do it that way, and you can open it very conveniently. So this is a little trick, and you can order the tool at my address. Well, but now I want to share my presentation with you. Just a few slides before I hand over to Fleur. Just a second. Here we go. So what if there would be no packaging at all? That's a big question. Naked products. It would be good for our health, for our planet, for our habitat if there would be no packaging, but I don't think it's a good idea. It's much too dogmatic. I mean, if you think about smelly, wet dog food, how do you bring it home? How about frozen products like here in the picture? I think it's not a good idea, but we have to do something. And Fleur and Mario know a lot about that in their daily business. So we have to change the role of packaging. We have to change the way we deal with packaging. And I want to briefly introduce you into the waste hierarchy pyramid. So what can we do if we are working along the supply chain, the value chain? Well, we can avoid packaging as such, so we can leave away the secondary packaging, we can reduce the material, lightweight, rethink the design, we can reuse packaging, for example, with deposits, with giving the consumer incentives as a value to really take part in this game. We can for sure recycle materials. This is really important, and we'll hear something more about that later. But here quality matters, we come back to that. We can compost where it makes sense, we can recover waste to energy. It's a nice way of saying, well, it's energy recycling, which is not really, they just burn the waste. That's not good, but it's even better than dispose it or put it into our environment, means littering. So if looking at the plastic problem, plastic is a big problem in our world. There are 78 million tons of plastic produced just for packaging a year worldwide, and only 10% are recycled. And from these 10%, there are only 2% that are recycled in a closed loop, so high quality recycling. And this is a problem. We have to increase the good outcome of the recycling process. We have to put more into the recycling and get more out to bring it back into the loop. But we also hear something about that later. There is one company who's into that since a long time. It's Rittersport, a German chocolate brand. And they are into a recycling initiative since many, many years. They have a monomaterial which is recyclable, but they found out that the consumer doesn't accept the plastic as a good packaging, so they started last year to pack their chocolate in paper. And that's funny because years and years ago, you see me on the right-hand side with the paper packaging. They already did that. This packaging is made from cellophane, and that dates back to the early 1950s. So sometimes it's also good to look back in history. But that's already enough from me. Last sentence, there is no such thing as waste, just stuff in the wrong place. And I think this is a very, very good quote. Now I hand over to our dear guest, and I would like to start with Fleur to tell us a little bit about what's going on at DECATHLON in terms of sustainable packaging. Thank you, Fleur. Fleur is yours.
Thank you, Uwe. First of all, I will introduce myself to you. I am Fleur Lim, so I'm based in Lille and not in Paris, because the head office is in Lille. I'm a sustainability leader for packaging, and I'm also environmental engineer, specialized in waste. So I can give you some key facts, and you can go on the second slide, Uwe. For those who don't know us, of course, I can guess that you know us, but we have like more than 2,000 stores across 56 countries in 5 continents, and many passionate people, sports passionate people, and of course by the size of our company, we should, and this is our role, and we must have a sustainable strategy. And so, yeah, I'm going to introduce to you the packaging project. So our sense for the packaging project is to build sustainable packaging solution for circular economy. We all know that producing packaging means producing waste. So from the beginning of the thinking of this strategy, we were based on the life cycle analysis, because the life cycle analysis is the first tool that we should use when we are environmental engineer. So based on it, we try now to have the most sustainable raw materials, even if we mostly use a paper pulp to do our packaging. We should not forget that wood pollutes. So in that way, we try to buy as much as maximum paper pulp from PFC and FSC label, which can guarantee us to not to contribute to the deforestation of the forest, and also by using the recycled material, because the best waste that we can produce is the one who doesn't exist. So let's use which already exists. And for the part of the conception, for the second part, we are trying to have an offer of eco-design packaging. And by eco-design, we are thinking about the end of life, because, of course, 100% of our packaging will have an end of life. And to make this packaging recyclable, we have to have monomaterials packaging, of course, and also to avoid single-use plastic packaging as much as possible. So our main strategy at the DECATHLON Packaging is to tackle 100% of our single-use plastic packaging by 2026. This is a commitment. And for the end of life, of course, we have, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know, one packaging which is circular, and this is the hang-up. We are using the hanger at the stores, and after the use, we should, of course, recycle it. And for that, we put a collection into our stores and also in our logistic, in order to collect them, to send them, and to transport them to our suppliers, our textile suppliers mainly, and to reuse it directly. And for those who are, which are not in good shape or sometimes destroyed, we can recycle it. So we reuse first and then we recycle. And yes, this is three main KPI that we have at DECATHLON's Packaging to try to build the most sustainable pack solution. But of course, we have many other actions that I won't have time to introduce to you. But you are welcome to ask me some question if you need to. Thank you, Uwe, for this few minutes. And
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Fleur. Did I get it right? You have to leave, so we have to have the question right now. So I will start asking you a question. I mean, you have 50,000 SKUs within DECATHLON. That's what I heard. That's pretty something. And whatever you do, it has a huge impact. And I see both. On the one hand side, recycling, so a little bit the cradle to cradle idea, the closed loop. On the other hand side, you're also into renewable, natural materials, compostable, biodegradable. So is there a philosophy you are like preferring, or what you are more into, or is it, how do you deal with that?
No, we don't have one preferred. We think that all should exist at the same time. So both of the solutions should exist in our company. So first of all, of course, we will avoid as much as possible the use of new material. Then we will avoid to use material in general. And then we will, if we really need the packaging, we will try to use recycled. And if we need to use virgin material, we will use them from sustainable labels. And of course, when we don't have choice to have packaging, we will try to make them the most circular as we can.
Okay, understood. Yeah, that's. I think it also depends a lot into which markets you are delivering your products, because the systems are completely different. If you
sometimes we can,
even between the Netherlands and Germany, or France and Spain, there are different systems in recycling and so on. So yeah, very good.
Sometimes we can be circular. Sometimes we don't have choice to be linear, but in that way we should make them the more recyclable as much as possible.
Okay, and one more question: if I would offer you a reusable packaging solution for shipping, like, you know, repack these bags or something like this? Do you have good reasons not to do it?
Yeah, it depends on where our customers live, because if they have a reusable pocket, for example, and they should take their car to go back to the store and to give back these bags, it doesn't make sense, because they will use their car, they will use oil, so etc. So we have to calculate the impact on all the life cycle and not only on the end of life. So sometimes having single-use packaging is better than having reusable packaging. It depends on the channel that we use.
Okay. Yeah, it makes total sense. Makes total sense. Okay, thanks for the moment, Fleur. I hope you can stay a little longer with us. I will hand over to Mario now, Mario Garcia from ISDIN, and I will go to his presentation. So thank you, Fleur, and see you later. Mario, now it's your turn.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks, Fleur. Hello, everybody. So thanks, Uwe, and thanks, DALIM, for giving me the chance to speak here today. I'm an agricultural engineer, which has come up to end in the cosmetic industry for a few years now. And last year devoted to packaging, and now a sustainability passionate. Let's put it that way. I'm sure not so many people of you know ISDIN as much as Decathlon, but just to give a 1 minute introduction to us. So we are a company born in Barcelona 40 years ago, which started to selling drugs and cosmetics that help you sustain the drug effects. Now we are a cosmetic company that sells some drugs, and we are devoted to skin. And specifically on our main sold SKU is sun protection. And as Uwe said, we are leaders in pharmacy stores in Spain, in Portugal, in Mexico, and we have strong positions in China, in the whole LATAM, and in some other countries. So our motto for that year is innovation in every texture to protect your skin. So all sun care products to protect, but if the texture is good, you will put it. So the important thing is put sun protection, no matter which brand. If it's ours, it's better.
I can only stress that. That's really, really true. So today you will introduce something really new to us, the sea-friendly formula, and I heard it's a premiere. Nobody has seen that from ISDIN before, so I'm really curious what you will tell us about this sustainable movement of ISDIN.
Well, we used to have some hint of a sea-friendly formula, but yesterday, matching the Day of the Seas, which was of the oceans, we launched our campaign of sea-friendly formula, which basically it's caring not only for your skin, but also for the planet. So we are, and we will keep doing, because not our formulas are within this umbrella. We try, especially for sun care formulas, because you are gonna get in the water with them on your skin, to make them friendly to the sea. Okay, so if you go to the next one.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
Why they are friendly is that it took us a while, but they have been tested to be friendly to the algae, which is one of the main microorganisms in the ocean, and that get harmed in case you put some sun filters that are not appropriate for that purpose. So it's been a hard change for us. It's been tough, and we will keep doing it. So I know this is packaging, but I wanted to introduce this formula. But we're also researching into packaging. If you go to the next one, and besides doing a big work in launching everyday sustainable packaging and removing current products that are not really sustainable and moving them to a sustainable platform, following the approach similar to the one Flora was speaking on reduction, recycle, and reuse, which is the approach we do, following also a life cycle analysis. We are also very happy to starting the collaboration with Marine Sciences Institute in Barcelona to characterize the plastic release, the organic matter release with plastic on the sea, and what is the effect on marine microbes. So we are investing on that because we really believe sea is the end of some of our products. the formula you're gonna get, and we hope that one day plastic will not get into the sea, but today is a reality. And we're doing two things: reducing, recycling, but also investing in research to know the effect, which is the first point. And as Flor said, any questions outside of Uwe ones, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Mario. I see there is already one question from the audience in our chat, and the question is, what about the need to clearly communicate the correct way to dispose of the packaging to the consumer? It seems like that it is a struggle in the US. Well, I can just say from my point of view, it's not only a struggle in the US, it's a struggle all over the world. And we have the green dot in Germany, but nobody knows really what it is about. Actually, it doesn't give any hint on the quality of the packaging. It's just that you pay, that the company pays an amount of money for the recycling systems. And we had the discussion, Mario, on recycling and deposits and so on. Would you like to add something to this question about the communication of the correct way of disposal?
Yeah, that's a big chunk of the work. So one is getting the products to be recyclable, whatever that means, because there is no legal definition, at least in the European community. So we and all the companies in the cosmetics try to express that and try to interpret that in the best way. So we try to make our product recyclable, but then we are trying and we are changing a lot of our works to try to make it match each country practice and legislation. And this is currently a big wave in Europe and also in US. Every country is going a bit on their own way. So what is yellow bean in Spain, in Italy is another color. France is still different, and UK even has different colors for different areas within UK. So it's really a big mess. Green dot doesn't mean anything at all anymore, just that you pay somebody to take care of the separation of the garbage. In France, the green dot is not allowed to be put anymore. In Italy, it's not gonna. So we are undergoing a big change now. We hope, and we are through the cosmetic organization, cosmetic industry, Cosmetics Europe, we're trying to make pressure on the EU to standardize as much as possible. But meanwhile, we need to adapt. So it means, unfortunately, sometimes we need to do more clusters or more different SKUs for different countries, which not always goes in favor of sustainability because you produce shorter runs of labels, etc., etc. But it's a work we are doing, and we are being proactive, and also we are following rules for every country that are new every month.
Yeah, that already displays how complex the whole story is. Just a personal question: how many garbage bins do you have in front of your apartment or house?
I could turn the camera, but it's a bit messy. I have 5. I have packaging, I have common rest, I have paper, I have glass, and I have organic for not so long, just for a year about. But I recommend you all put organic as long as you can dispose it, because you reduce a huge amount of smell at home and a huge amount of waste, of general waste.
Yeah, absolutely. I have 4, so it's similar in Germany to Spain. All right. So maybe it's the last question we can have here today. The question is comes from Isabel, and she asks: is the C movement for sustainability just an ISDIN initiative, or is it a larger one? Is it Spanish? Is it European? What is it?
Well, this one is ISDIN. There is no specific law for it yet, and all the companies in the area are working against that to improve the sustainability, especially in sun protection creams and lotions. And we are all doing what we think is the best, basically taking out filters that are known to be harmful for the sea, and some others which start to get some bad press. And here is where a bit the controversy or the best practice of each company goes on. How far that you want to go in removing things that are controversial, but still not even on the scope of the EU to be forbidden. So in here at ISDIN, we're going a bit against the mile, so we're going a bit farther, and everything we think that it's going to become not so good press or not so good for the seas in the coming 3, 4, 5 years, we're already either taking it out or studying how to do it.
All right, that's, yeah, okay, thank you very much. Just one last question, because I'm really interested personally, and it's also interesting for the audience, I guess. Last question, I mean, suntan in a paper tube, is it something you can imagine, or is it a long way to go? So there are a lot of new things coming up in the industry. Do you see paper tubes?
I really see it. Today, I'm not sure if that's the best solution given the status today. Today, paper tubes are equal or similar, or not even what a Tetra Pak, branded name, would be. For instance, in Spain, they're not recycled at all. They used to be. They're not. I know in Germany they're highly recycled to some extent because it's so multi. But paper tubes today are not only paper tubes. They have plastic and they have quite a lot of plastic. So there is a whole debate on that. But we are definitely studying that. And once there is a technology which allows you to have a lot of paper and very, very, very little plastic and doesn't pollute the plastic, the paper recycle, we probably go there. Yeah.
All right, Mario, thanks a lot. This was really interesting. I have the same vision on that. Unfortunately, we don't have Fleur with us anymore, and our time is over anyway. So thank you very much to both of you, Mario and Fleur, for being with us. And well, I hope you enjoyed the show a little, and I'll hand back to our hosts. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Hello again for this last part of our episode 4 of our DUO onAir 2021. I'm today together with Aurélien Knapp, who is a senior application consultant at DALIM. Hello, Aurélien. Hello. And I'm Isabelle Bidret-Rayel. I'm the business development director for Europe. I'm very glad to be with you today. So we're going to talk about packaging and marketing, winning DUO. So we've been hearing a lot today from our friend from DECATHLON, from Uwe, and also from ISDIN about sustainable packaging and the way it's producing they are producing more and more packaging, and this was one point Mario was highlighting. Actually, one very important thing is that 70% of the consumer, when they are in the shop, they are really impacted by the design of the packaging, and they just make up their mind at the very last moment if they really like the packaging. So it's something which is very important in the consumer decision. Another interesting point is that today, and this is all the more important, 40% of the consumer, they are ready to communicate and to send pictures about the product if they like the packaging, if they really entertain with the product and with its packaging. So it's a very important point because this helps actually to communicate a lot, to broadcast information about the product, and to get also, of course, more success when selling packaging. But what is actually the packaging for? So if we start from the very beginning, the packaging, as Uwe was outlining, is really to protect the goods and to make sure that it will arrive in the end of the consumer in good shape. It's also a superb marketing tool because it's enabling to attract people and to get them buying the solution because it's a brand new packaging, because it's very nice. This is also a source of a lot of information. Could be about the ingredient, could be about the way to use the product, could be some other information, entertainment information. We see more and more, for example, QR code or games on the bottom of milk for kids to play with it. And of course, next time they will have to get this milk. And the last point, this is also a very nice way to differentiate the product, to differentiate, to be compliant with the green environment, and also to get a fancy packaging which is sparkling into the stores. So, but when we talk about packaging and how we create a package, it's a lot of complexity underneath. Actually, when we start a new product, so the first thing which is coming up, this is to get a brief describing the product and the intent the brand would like to get for this packaging. Most of the time, they are addressing it with an agency, can be internal agency or external agency, and there will be exchanging about the kind of product and packaging they would like to get, and they will get a lot of approval cycle until the moment it's ready and everybody can review it. And if you have some variant for this packaging, for example, if you do some chips and you have different flavors, then probably you're going to get the different flavors, and also you want also to adapt this packaging for the local market. So we see this is a lot of complexity. I have one question for you, Aurélien. When we talk about this complexity, I know that you are very often at customer site working on projects. So how does it start with you? What is the first step?
The first step when we arrive into the customer, the first thing to do is to make an audit of the current process with key people. For example, the project manager, the brand marketing, and the creative people. We elaborate together a business process mapping. This is very first step to standardize and industrialize the process. Most of the time, we have two kinds of workflows: a brand new packaging, where everything has to redesign, and the second one is an edition of an existing packaging. So now we have our workflow mapped on paper, and we have to convert it into a dynamic workflow. It's important to have a tool to edit the workflow. So we also have to adapt it to the different products and environment, local versus international. So the workflow includes different kinds of milestones, parallel or serial tasks. As we already seen before, the brief, design and approval cycles, but also some tasks for promoting the products. At the end of the packaging production, we can send a hero image of the product for the e-commerce site. There is a different kind of milestone, some to inform people their actions are required, and some to automate tasks like archiving all the generated content. And of course, all these milestones have different deadlines.
So if I understand well, so you are mapping the process, you're making the workflow, and of course, you have also to associate to this workflow some people. So there's different kind of project stakeholders. And I know, for example, that when we talk about brands and especially about packaging approval, they just tell us it's a very complex workflow with a lot of spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, and a lot of information flowing per email, and it's totally unstructured. So is there a solution for that to streamline the communication between the different project stakeholders?
Yes, there is. Actually, the challenge is to have one solution centralizing all the information and making sure that you are following the right process, informing the different projects, stakeholders, when their actions are required. People can be internal or external, with different access and rights and views. So different dashboards with to-do lists for participants and global planning for people in charge of the project.
Okay, so you have the process, you have the people. What is the first step you get when you start a project?
So when we start a project, it always starts with a job ticket. You have to fill it. This is where all the information related to the project are gathered. So the SKU references, for example, the project deadline, the different countries where the products are distributed, and the languages it should include. Some marketing information, which are most of the time described into a brief. It can be delivered directly into the job ticket as, for example, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or images. Of course, technical information like the printing process, the ink separation with the different Pantone colors on the die cut. It also lists the different deliverables to produce. So the packaging artwork, the label, the 3D, images for e-commerce, notice, video for social media communication. And of course, the different project stakeholders and their roles. And this information can be entered manually, but also directly flowing from an ERP or MIS system.
Yeah, it's making a lot of sense to get this information flowing from other systems, because this is quite complex what you were describing. But when you create a packaging, actually, brands, they already have some brand guidelines. They have also some logos and pictures they would like to reuse, like we've heard just before, the recycling picture, for example. How does it work? Is there a way you can centralize it and get everybody not re-entering them every time?
Yes, as we said it before, all is centralized, so we have all the content related to packaging are centralized into the product DAM. So you can have your brand guidelines, the picto library, and of course all the previous packaging artworks that have been produced. With the search features on taxonomy or metadata like product SKU, you are able to find the right assets, create a collection with all necessary files, picto, logos, or brand guide, and associate them to your job.
So I imagine it helps to save a lot of time actually to locate the different file you need and not to search them every time. So now one more point. So let's come back to the project stakeholders. So there's different kinds. So we've told that there's different people, but could you please talk to us a little bit more about the different roles of people involved into the process?
Of course. This is a very important subject. Actually, you have different kind of people joining the project. So the project manager, who have a full transparency of what is happening. He is in the project, is the project gatekeeper. So he dispatches the different tasks and invites people to join the project. He manages the different resources, internal or external. And he can, at any moment, add new people in the project. For example, if he needs additional advice about the design impact, he can add the participation of someone. There is also other participants, which are only required at some points of the project, like legal people or translation specialists or designers. Those approvers have different approval rights. Some can stop the project and some others can just give their advice. It will not stop the project. For example, marketing manager can ask the advice of the local marketing. If some people are not happy, they can comment, but the decision will be relying on the marketing director. So if a digital signature is mandatory, for example, for the FDA or European law compliance, we have the possibility to do it easily.
Okay, so again, so you have the workflow, you have the people, you have assigned a different role to the different project stakeholders, and of course you have defined all the goods you need for this project, so packaging and hero images and so on. So next is what's happening next. So you have design. How is that working with the approval cycle?
So with the approval cycle, when the project participant receives an invitation to review an artwork, he can simply open the file using a standard web browser, zoom on the content, inspect the different informations he wants to check, for example, as the different layers. To facilitate the review, he can rotate the artwork, put notes on it, and in case of text change request, he can select the text and specify in the note what has to be modified. All notes and comments are gathered. So you can get different colors depending on the role of the person. It's possible to check technical information such as color operation, ink opacity, or even ink coverage. We can also imagine reordering the channel.
So I can imagine how it can streamline the communication between the different people, because here you have just one web browser, just go to your job and then you review it. So depending, if I understand well, on your role, you may have different action you want to do. So some will just put some notes, some other maybe who are more involved in printing process will check transparencies and those kind of things. So more technical information, am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, good. So on the next step you have your design, you have made the annotation, and of course you have a brilliant agency which is very fast, and they have already delivered to you revision. So how do you deal with this? Because you have two jobs, two artworks. How does it work? How can you manage it?
So actually the system automatically manages revisions. It clearly indicates the number of revisions. So with a simple click on the artwork, you have access to them. Then you have different comparison modes. You can check if all modifications have been done. the analyze mode to highlight the differences, the side-by-side mode, or by the layer mode, where you can see the actual state of the previous version before modification.
So that one is very good because I'm not very good at the 7 errors, when you are comparing two pictures. I can see here. I'm probably going to win every time if I'm using it next time. So what's happening? So here we are on 2D, but what's happening regarding 3D? Is it also possible for 3D?
It's exactly the same in 3D. You can do the same thing that you do in 2D, you can do it in 3D.
So this means you get the 3D model, and that's very cool because the 3D model gives you a very reliable impression of the way the product will look like. And then you can compare the different versions and see if modifications have been brought. That's correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, that's very, very powerful. We've went through how managing complexity, how it's easy to streamline the approval workflow. So the next question I have, can you do any automation? Is there automation that pop up to your mind when we talk about automation for packaging workflows?
The first thing I have in mind when you speak about automation is the notification automatic. In fact, you do not need to have an access into the system. I mean, your name is registered into ES, just because you have been included to an approval cycle. When your action is required, an email is automatically sent, and just by clicking on the link, you can review the documents. So no password, no login, very simple. You can even use your favorite device as an iPad or phone. There is also automatic reminders to people when the deadline is approaching and they have not yet reviewed the documents.
So great. So this means that you can invite anybody, almost everybody, to join from anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very powerful. I see how it can be used. And what's about some other kind of automation? Very often I was introducing at the very beginning the production where you have a master template, very often for package, and then you want to get the different variants. Is there a way to automate it? Because most of the time, you make the master template and then everything is done manually. You have to put the text manually, you have to put the logos, if you have different logos to put in because it's dangerous on one flavor or not on the other one. Maybe you have to do things. Is it possible to automate that kind of process?
Yes, of course. In ES, we include the REST API that enables to connect with other systems and retrieve information that can automatically be populated to the master template. So then we can also create the variant. So as you can review the master artwork with ES Dialog, you can review the variants. So you can have 16 variants on the screen simultaneously. We have a synchronization mode to check the different parts of the artwork. For example, the logo, the barcode, or the picto. So we have a brand new feature to duplicate notes automatically to the different documents. It permits you to save a lot of time and make sure that it will be automatically copied on the other variant. So now that I have described how to search, manage artworks, and the workflow, Isabelle, I have a question for you. Can you explain us, in some words, how to make a quick new campaign?
Are you challenging me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that the packaging actually it's much more for a product. You have a lot of information, you have a lot of content, so you can get point of sale like what we have here. You have labels, you may have packaging and so on. And if I understand well, with what you were describing us today, you are able to get everything into a centralized database. And you will be able to search for all the different content when they have been published or approved. And then you can make a selection, download them, reuse them for your campaign, maybe to share on social media. Or if you want to get a partner, an agency to create for you advertising or flyers, and you can do the same. Am I correct?
You are.
Thanks, I'm good, I think so. Okay, so it's my turn now to challenge you because I think there's one thing which is very important in business. This is traceability and KPI. You want to optimize a process. You want to make sure that you have everything under control. So what can you propose us?
So you have to know that inside the system, it's possible to define different dashboards for different people. So we can have to-do lists, Gantt views, and also Kanban view. And then we also log everything happening inside the system as approval cycle, comments, who did them, the documents, the type, and the revision. So with all this information, we can construct KPI views that can be shared with other customers or units.
So I think we are just reaching the end of this webinar, and thank you, Aurélien, for sharing with you your trick to get a winning duo with packaging and marketing. So Bertine, do we have any question? We still have a little bit of time, so if you have question, I'm sure Aurélien is ready to answer.
So to my disappointment, because after IT helped me to get some more screen time here with this screen wall, I don't see any questions for you guys. So you explained it very well. Thank you very much for that.
Okay, so thank you everybody for listening to us today, for joining the session. So let's meet again into the lobby in the different meeting room. Bye bye.
Yes, so just as Isabel said, yeah, I'm looking forward to see you on the tables and network with you guys. And of course, I would like to remind you that next week we have our 5th episode. This time, you know, we're leaving the packaging business. We move into printing and publishing again. And we have some very exciting guests again. So this time we move across the Atlantic to Brazil and into the US. We finally get to meet Ed Sapanik, the guy you saw before on our marketing advisory board from Continental Web. And we also have a speaker, Robert Finikowski from A360 Media from New York City with us. So I'm looking forward to see you in a week from now, same time, same place. And looking forward to see you in a few seconds on the table. So have a good evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.